Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. How's it going, everyone? We'll let our little cinematic woodland awakening song play out and then get started. Hey, Pheasant, I'm not late. You're late. What a lovely song. Here we go. How's everyone's weekend? I guess let's open some stuff up here. I'll do this thing I'm trying to do more, which is to kind of like open up the stream with like a little sit rep of like where we're currently at, just for people who are maybe catching the VODs for the first time. Hope of, getting their interest. So we're still working on our tile editor tool. I feel like it's getting there, So all of this works pretty well. The thing that we did most recently was we made like an invalid block for the doors for when the arrangement would be invalid, or the placement or whatever. So yeah, you see this weird checkerboard thing kind of modeled on like the source engine missing texture. So that if we went from like a triple door to a quad door, it would just break. But notice how it's not doing the same thing it's doing everywhere else with outlines. It's not auto tiling the outlines away. And that is because it's really just a block. It's being placed the same way that the doors are being placed, which is kind of different than the way everything else is being placed. Everything else is being auto tiled per face, which allows us to hide outlines when we do something like this. So we want to change that. But that involves redoing the tile map atlas to an extent. And that's what we've been working on. We're pretty much done with rebuilding the tile map atlas so that we can just, auto tile these invalid blocks instead of having them just be placed like the way the doors are placed as like individual blocks. Instead, we could auto tile the faces. So that's kind of what we're working towards. But it's really this big... It's a big change for the auto tiler, changing the tile atlas format. Here's what we've got. I'm going to turn off the interior texture and just use a flat texture just so that it's less hurtful to my eyes. We've been working on this a while. This is the new format. You've got like the Z faces over here on the side. You've got the short walls here. The X and Y faces for the walls, short walls, the X and Y faces for the floor pieces. And then the most of it is taken up by the full wall. which we've added more complicated outlining to. So like we can outline half of the wall instead of just all or nothing. And that's pretty important because of the way the cutaway system cuts halves of walls away. It'll cut the top half of a wall off and only leave the bottom half. And so the autotiler needs to be able to outline around that. So this is what we're using. This is like one piece. 1024 by 256. Not the biggest atlas, not the smallest. So that's the quote unquote dense map, the tile map that we're actually going to use. We also have this this thing here. Same thing. I'll turn the interior off to this more relaxing appearance here. This is the sparse map, quote unquote sparse map. This is how the autotiler thinks about these. So we've got the x-axis and the y-axis, and so these are kind of compound pieces here. Hey Nix, what's up? So this is like the base tile, fully outlined. So the system might say, hey, we want to remove part or all of this outline on the right here. So it might do that. So it increments the x-axis to do that. The atlas coordinate along the x-axis. And then if it wants to remove the vertical, I say vertical, if it wants to remove the top and bottom outlines, then we move down along the y-axis. So that combination gives us the atlas chord we're actually going to use. So we might say, you know, get rid of this side and get rid of this side. And get rid of the corner. So there's a corner as well. There's corner pieces that we've added support to for a good reason. Our old tile atlas was a lot simpler. It didn't have corner support. It didn't have half wall support. Corners are pretty good. They're pretty key because what happens if you don't have corners, I call them dots. If you have no dots, then you have these weird cases where if you try to build using only these, like only like top, left side, right side, bottom, then you get situations like this, like a missing outline. There's a gap here, and that's because this outline is gone. Because this block above says, hey, there's a block below me. I won't bother the outline. I won't bother drawing the outline. The problem is we need the corner of it. It's less noticeable in this direction, but still technically wrong. And so if we add dots, we're able to fix that. We'll add that in. So we needed to add the dots. Just add little corner pieces. And that gives us the full range of what we might want to do in terms of the different kinds of faces we support with all the dots. So we've added that. So we've added a lot. So we need to map from this understanding, which is, I call it the sparse map because it's kind of how the autotiler thinks of these arrangements. We need to map those, which I've done now, onto this map. I didn't actually put indexes over these because who could be bothered? I did put group numbers though. I arranged these in groups because of this pattern that comes up, which is very clear, which is that that's maybe not the best example. Outlines, yeah. Groups. So this is a group because this is like one tile, and then here's the tile with part of this wall, and then both removed. And that's kind of the iteration we go through each time. You'll see full right wall, half right wall, other half right wall, no right wall. So we've broken them up into little groups, but otherwise we've arranged them the same as this, which ended up being kind of a nice arrangement. It's kind of hard to see all of this. This is kind of particular arrangement. This is like what all the edges look like. It's a nice arrangement. It's easy to think about. So that's what we've used here. And yeah, I think we're ready to try to put this in the system. I could have expanded these down to like take up all the space here because there's some space we've left. Huh. Oh, the grid is still there even though I can't see it. I was wondering why I was able to select the grid. Lock this up here. All right, so we're gonna start with this because this is the base. This is gonna be the basic texture that we use. We'll do some color variants, but I want to get the invalid one done because that's like our fallback. If we're ever missing an asset, we should be able to just render one of these instead. So let's export this. Fine. Where are we exporting it to? Also fine. And we'll probably set this file up here. What we'll be doing today. And making alternatives and teaching the autotiler what to do with this is going to be important. Yeah, otherwise we're just having a chill Tuesday. I just felt my neck like crack into next Tuesday is what it felt like it just did. All right, so let's bring up our... Let's make a new tile atlas. Right? No, I guess there can only be one tile set. So we have tile sets, we have tile atlases. Tile sets are made of multiple tile atlases. Each tile atlas, sometimes multiple copies of the same tile atlas, will each have a source ID in the tile set. So we have the one tile set, and you can only have one tile set hooked up to each tile map layer. So in theory, we could set this up. We could plug in a different layer or a different tile set to each layer. So we have our deck layer, XYZ, bulk layer, XYZ, door layer. We could theoretically use a different tile set for each of these. I'm weirdly kind of tempted to do that. I am tempted to do that. Let's look at setting that up. Next, what fantastical foe awaits us today? Clearly tile sets. All right, so I'm gonna add here. I'm gonna add a tile set. We'll make a new tile set. Question is, do we need a set? The reason I'm thinking about this is because you got to think about the fact that the ships are custom to an extent. You wonder if we'll ever finish working on the tile sets. Hey, Ted Bray, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. You know, it does feel like that sometimes, Nix, where we're stuck working on something for a while and it feels like it'll never end, and then it does, and we look back and we have some cool feature or system. And then we don't have to touch it again for a long time. That's kind of nice. It's kind of... I know I could be bouncing around tasks more. I could be like, today we're working on art. tomorrow we're doing sound effects. But like, I think when you're a solo dev, you got to be careful about task switching, because a lot of your brain is committed to like holding on to your working memory. And it's why you can have things like shower epiphanies, where you're like in the shower and you like figure out the solution to your problem because your brain was like working on it in the background. So I really do like going all in on a task until we're done with it and then move on to another task. If we had more concerns, like if we had deadlines we were meeting and teammates that we had to like help with the schedule for, were like they're depending on our work output, then I think we would be changing our workload a little bit to more meet the moment. But because we're just cruising along on our own, we can kind of do whatever we want, you know. How's everyone doing? How was your weekend? Nix, speaking of cool feature, you implemented halfway a new function at work. Custom chart creator. It's great. Also terrible, but good, but also buggy. But you have time to fix it until the end of this week. Nice. Yeah, I made some new tools at work in the last week or two. It feels good. I think it'll feel less good once I'm using them a lot and I realize how poorly they're held together. But all right, so yeah, what we did before was we had a single tile set that covered everything for a given ship, and I think there's a wisdom in that. The question is, do you want to save a tile set per ship, or do you want to just have a tile set that's used in the tile map layer, and that tile set can just get rebuilt? That's the question. Let's look at the docs a little bit. Because that's the question of whether we like swap out another tile set that we've already pre-made, or we like change the configuration of the existing tile set that's hooked up. I think the answer is that we probably will want to make tile sets ahead of time for each ship. That's probably the solution. I'm still tempted to do a tile set per layer. But I'm genuinely interested. I haven't tried to like mess around with tile sets a lot during runtime beyond just... Well, no, I actually don't mess around with tile sets directly. A tile set handles a list of tile set source, each of them storing a set of tiles. So the tile set source is what we're adding to each time we add in a tile map atlas. Yeah, we usually use tile set atlas sources, which is I guess what I should call them. There's also tile set scene collection, which we'll eventually need to use probably. And that's for when we're substituting in like doors. So we take our like door proxies, which are just billboards that are pretending to be doors, which is a tile set atlas, and we'll need to swap them out with tile set scene collection, because we'll need the actual node, which is the door, once we're playing the game, you know. Nix, you went into work today to talk to your boss about this, and after 8 hours you could not, so you have to go into tomorrow too, instead of doing home office. Today was 30 degrees centigrade again. You're literally melting at those temperatures. Yeah, that is horrible. That is horrible. Isn't that close to like the temperature of the human body is supposed to be? Oh no, never mind, I'm wrong. 37 Celsius is the body. So 30, that's pretty hot still. That's still... I have to do a conversion step because I don't know. I don't have an intuitive sense for what Celsius temperatures are. 86. Okay, yeah, 86 can be rough. Thanks for the hydrate. Yeah, it's getting warm here too. Not quite that level, but it's been warm. All right, so the real question is, do we want to swap out sources? Do we want to swap out tileset sources at runtime? Or do we want to just load in a whole new tileset? I want to look at some of these functions. Oh, interesting. A tileset source cannot belong to two tilesets at the same time. If the added source was attached to another tileset, it will be removed from that one. Interesting. Interesting. That definitely sends us along in a direction. Can I configure a tileset source separate from the tileset itself? That'd be cool. Doesn't look like it. Interesting. Tileset source can only be added to one tileset at the same time. So if we have duplicates of an atlas, those atlas duplicates are going to get their own unique tileset source, even if they're otherwise identical. That's kind of annoying. Okay, there's also a tileset atlas source. What's happening right now? Oh, inherited by tileset atlas source. Oh, these are the particular kinds of sources, right? So this is the one we're predominantly going to be using. This is the 2D atlas texture. Yeah, I can't handle hot weather either, Nix. I would prefer cold, which is partly why I live in a coastal city that's usually gray and cold. But we're getting our summer. We also get a summer, but our summer is pretty short. But it's definitely started. It's nice out. He says, being inside 90% of every day, almost never going outside. I have a little coffee left. It is like right on that edge where it's almost lukewarm, but it's got just enough warmth left in it where it's like drinkable. So here's my question. So I could build these programmatically, is very clearly the case. Tileset atlas source, but I can, if I build it, I can only assign it to one tile set. Okay, what is the consequence of that? So let's think about our main tile. So we've got this, right? This is our invalid tile thing. Yeah? We would need to use this in the case of blocks that can't exist where they've been placed. I'm gonna try not to leave this on screen very much. It looks very weird. It's making me dizzy with its checkerboard pattern. Its perspective breaking checkerboard pattern. Nix, you drank 2 coffees and a bottle of Monster so far today? Wow. You're a bit hyper. Time to make another mod. Yeah, can we get a mod count? We need a mod count for this week. Which we track the number of RimWorld mods that Nix has installed. I think the last count was like 410 or something like that. 413. 463? Have you added 50 mods in the last like 4 days? Oh. Some of which you've made yourself is what I understand. That's pretty wild. Nix. You may have added a couple. Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 50. All right, as tile data properties are stored directly in the tile set atlas source, their properties might also be set using tile set atlas source.set. Okay, so for these coords, tile set atlas source.set. I don't see an empty set command here. Is this something that like a resource has? I have not used resources very much, which is maybe a problem for me. I mean, I have, but I haven't like, you know, made a lot of my own. Mainly because we're not going to really use resources for a lot of things. I mean, we use the built-in ones, but we're not going to probably use those for like sharing mods and stuff. Just because resource loading is kind of tough, tricky. We're probably going to have our own structures that we serialize and deserialize. You made 2 of them? I mean, that's pretty cool. I haven't made new or mold mods. You have ideas for a couple more? Nice, nice. So create tile is the big thing, right? Create tile here. Creates a new tile. Where do I control the offsets? Ah, here we go. Margin, separation, texture, texture region size, texture padding.
Maximum what?
True generates an internal texture with an additional 1 pixel padding around each tile. Texture padding avoids a common artifact where lines appear between tiles. Huh. I feel like we should not do that by default unless we notice the artifact. Hey, No Jewel. How's it going? Nick, speaking of mods, you published a mod like 3 hours ago. You already have 113 unique visitors, 18 subscribers, 4 favorites. Your mod is in 2 collections. Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, normally all we do is we set tile... Well, we don't set tile data here, I guess. We could probably do it this way. All right, so a tile set atlas source can only belong to a single tile set. Probably means we don't want to be reassigning tile set atlases around. We probably just have to have a bunch of them. The other thing I'm thinking about is like, we only want to have one set of this main set of tile map, whatever's. You can't see it. There's not a lot of detail here. But basically, we only need to ever render one ship at full resolution. So there's really no reason to have a bunch of different tile map layers for a given quote-unquote resolution, which is like the full resolution. So it makes me think we're going to want to have one set of tile map layers. That's like we're the thing that does the rendering. What we're rendering changes often because the player might be looking at their ship and then they're like, I want to go look at someone else's ship at full zoom. So they zoom out and then zoom back in on another ship. So when you zoom out, we forget about, you know, we either have a different set of tile map layers or we swap in the set. We probably have a different set of tile map layers. just because we don't want it to take any amount of time to load the zoomed out and zoomed in bits, really. We want to minimize the amount of time, so we probably just swap to something really quick. So I'm tempted to say that what we do is we make a unique tile set for each kind of layer. So here we have like our hull levels. We have hull level 0, hull level 1, hull level 2, hull level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do all that. And then what we do is within each level, we have these scenes that are the basis of all of this. So there's deck layer X, deck layer Y, deck layer Z, bulk layer X, bulk layer Y, bulk layer Z, etc. These, I think, should each have their own tile set. And then what we can do is as we have more variety added, we can just increment the source ID. We can just add that variety. So as we support more and more different kinds of blocks, we can just add source IDs there. And we could have, you know, a set list for each ship. If it eventually makes sense that we're like loading in a tile set for each ship. But let's do this for now just to get started, because we've been kind of just thinking about this and not doing anything. Let's make a new tile set. Let's make sure it's set up right. So it needs to be isometric. Let me look at the old one. Isometric, diamond down, horizontal offset with a tile size of 32 by 8. Yeah, that seems fine. So isometric, diamond down, horizontal, 32 by 8. Isometric, diamond down, horizontal, 32 by 8. I can't see this. Oh, there it is. It's up here. Oh, I have to recenter these eventually, huh? Yeah, I do. How is this working, actually? The way we've done this. Hey, Diginanigans, how's it going? Happy Tuesday. Did you have a good weekend? Okay, you'll need a source to some kind of thing to reference, right? Yeah. All right. We're just gonna fill this out with tile sets here. So we got this. We're gonna save this as say tile, we'll say tile set deck layer X. And then so I think the thing that we're going to do is we'll have, when we complete a ship, like when we do a ship build, we will, so there will be one set, or there will be one set. The edit time tile sets will need to have access to all of, potentially all of, the variety of blocks that you could put down. But then when we publish a ship, like when you have a finished ship build, we could compress that down to what we're actually using. Pretty much. Maybe not. We might have a system that like registers and unregisters certain kinds of tiles, depending on what we need to render. Tired or another busy week? I feel you. I feel it, you Diginanigans. I am also very tired. Luckily, I've got tomorrow off work. I've got some fun plans with my partner. Does mean no stream tomorrow and no stream Thursday, but it's going to be nice to take a break. So let's see what we can do today. And then what we decide, I can wrap it up tonight. I've got a co-working event. All right, so we've got tile set deck layer X as its own T-res. I think we want to just do that for each one of these. We want to make a new tile set, isometric, diamond down, 32 by 8. Save this as well. Oh, this is gonna totally break everything, huh? The way I'm doing this. Well, that's fine. Let's go through and make these first. I need to do my thing where I need to be able to retain the functionality, the original functionality we have, at least while we're working on this, just so I can show stuff off. I'm very hesitant to do anything that's a refactor that like breaks the current functionality. Anything like that I would like to just build on top. So let's finish this. This is gonna have to be redone. Enjoy, thank you. Thank you, Shenanigans. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Can I just copy these? I'm gonna duplicate these instead. Oop. I think these should probably be called like default. But let's just have one layer for now. Or one. Let's not worry about, you know, all the different tile sets we might eventually have here. I do need to make one more though. It's for the doors. So the door layer. Do I want different tile sets for the proxy versions? Probably, right? And then I can have a 1-to-1. So you could build out all these proxy tiles in the build mode. And then when you switch to runtime, maybe you can substitute in a different tile set that has the node versions of everything and rebuild it like that, maybe? Maybe that could work. I'm just going to call this door layer proxy. Because they're the proxy doors for now. And that's it for that at the moment. So we can do that. However, I need to change all of these back. I need the hull default. That is not it. There. So I need to change all these back. And then we need to start making our own new resource here. Not resource, but we need to make a variation. Hull default, hull default. right, let's make sure I didn't break everything just now. It's always the question. What did I break today? No, this seems fine. Let's check every type of layer here just to make sure. Put some doors in here just to make sure. Yep, looks good. We've got all three kinds of doors here. We've got our invalid block. Yeah, I didn't realize that these are getting padded by default. We should actually see if that's happening. Let's open up our tile set thing. So if we look at this layer, use texture padding. It's recommended to leave this enabled. Weird. If I'd known that, I would just have left room. Huh. Okay. I'm not going to worry about texture packing and padding and all that stuff. I'm going to trust the system to handle that. This is also like not a huge... I mean, we're going to have a bunch of these, but this is not, it's still not huge in the world of tile atlases. It is enough that I don't want to ever make one of these by hand again. Got to come up with a tool to make these. All right, so we're going to use this. What we're going to do is, so I want to make a new version of this object here. So this inherits from this. I think it's okay if this inherits from default. So this is the hull level. Hull levels, plural. I guess let's just set the layers up first, and then we can worry about how we're going to hook this up here. No tile set source selected. Select or create a tile set source. Okay, so I could make sources, but again, a source can only belong to one of these. To one of the tile sets, which I think is fine now that we've split it up like this. They're all kind of going to use the same texture, which I think is kind of ideal. I guess the door isn't. The door is kind of its own unique thing. But these 6 will all kind of... They'll use the same atlas. Oh, excuse me. They'll use the same atlases. So if we go in here, we grab wholecube.png. I should probably have called this something else. I should probably call this like whole cube invalid. Actually, this is just the invalid block, isn't it? There isn't going to be like different shapes of invalid blocks. I guess there could be. Yeah, whatever. Let's name this something else though. We'll stick with cube. It's not exactly a cube. Say hull. Why am I saying hull? Let's just say invalid block. And then we'll set this one up first. So grab the invalid block. Atlas's texture was modified. Would you like to automatically create tiles in the atlas? Almost never would be my answer. Oh, here's a problem. Here's a problem. Well, it's not a problem per se. But it's that the half bulks and the full bulks need to both be represented here. Can't just have one of them. So we need the full version of the wall as well as the partially cut back version. We need both of them present, which is fine. There was a way to do this that I could have done that I did not, which was to like... So I packed these down. I didn't leave any room on top, but I could have spaced these out such that they had the same footprint as these, the full walls. In which case I could have just put them in the same spot. But whatever, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. I'm gonna say this is bulk. We'll say this is full bulk X. All right, so full bulk X is gonna be this range. So texture region 16, 30, 28. Yeah, 28. 16 by 28. So we can just, the easy thing to do is just enable all of these. All right, so there's all of those. Select them. Oh, I should name this better. So this is like invalid. Full. I guess name doesn't really matter in most of these cases. I don't totally love this interface. Can I... Is there a way to like full screen this window? No. It's weird. A lot of windows will let you do this. Not this one though. Like the scripting one has a pop-out button that I can use. Pop out the whole window and make it big. But this tile set editor doesn't seem to do that. It's interesting. Kind of annoying. I wonder if I could rearrange any of this stuff. Huh. All right, so let's do the setup for these tiles. This is Atlas chords. We don't need to mess with Atlas chords. The Atlas chord should handle the gap, right? So this is like 3-2. This should be 5-2. Okay, it is. There are some gaps in our tile map, and it's because of the grouping we use, and I think it's fine.
Doing a lot of usual stuff, but there was a cow looking like it was using tall wooden legs that appeared from time to time to say, like, yeah, I know you can do it. You have my trust.
Alright, so time to set the texture coordinates here.
The moonlight spread its shadow across my ceiling.
-8.
When I woke up in my groggy state, it looked like
10, -8, 10. I should have done all of them at once. How do I do that? Shift. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you can it'll just let you grab a whole bunch of these. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh. So if you shift click them twice, they'll go away. Interesting. All right, so here they all are. Yeah, so we've gotten rid of our reliance on alternative tiles, which is interesting. -8 and 10. All right, there we go. So that's that one. There is a question of Z indexing, but I feel like I'm not going to do that at this level. I kind of don't want to use texture padding,
that you should stop dreaming.
but that's fine.
The feeling I get from this is waking up in the middle of the night from a nightmare.
All right, so let's grab another one.
But really isn't.
Same texture. Nope. This one is bulk half.
Pick up your phone and no one is there. And for a while I was really scared of them. Like, it's definitely something that
I don't know what the hell is this person is talking about in this song.
knew what was going on and why it was happening.
I don't think I love the whole weird long spoken word monologues in lo-fi trend. Find it deeply distracting. Like, it's one thing if it's like a little sample for like an outro or intro or something, but it's like, why do you have that throughout the entire song? Just someone giving you a TED talk. Like, sorry if I'm cranky today. I feel a little cranky. I worked really hard yesterday to finish up this whole big tile atlas. No, Joel, at first you thought you have something running in another tab. Yeah, I know. It's so weird. It's so weird. Oh, and it's always that, I don't know who that person is, but there's this one artist that always uses this guy. I don't know who it is. Some armchair philosopher telling us about future pants. Or it's like a comedian or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's funny. Funny and weird. All right, so I have to add a... Hold on. I did this wrong. Let me just undo that. I forgot. If I want to have this start with 0, 0 up here in the corner, I need to add a margin. So what is the margin going to be? It's 256 times 3 is the margin. So 768. There we go. Now 0 is where we expect it to be. How's it going, No Jewel? What have you been up to? So this is probably not -8, but it is probably... Well, it's -8, but it's probably not 10. It's probably like 4? Yeah, okay. Okay. That's good so far. We're gonna have to build so many, excuse me, alternative scenes to do this in a way that doesn't just break everything. Maybe that's what I try to do during my streaming break, is sub this system out, because there's gonna be very hard to do this in a way that doesn't like break all of our existing stuff. Open this one. Okay, so that was that one. Open this one. No, Joel, you're working on your parallax background editor. It's quite popular on Blue Sky, so now you're worried that people will actually use it and you want to fix some things. Oh no. Yeah, be careful. Be careful what, cool stuff you do. You might be on the hook for it. So we're using these ones. This is something that I will also want to automate, this process of configuring these tile atlas sources. It's so tedious. I don't like having to do it every time I make a new piece here. But we're going to do it for now. This will be 8 and 10. And then now a new one here using the same piece. Margin 768. Vertical margin, actually that's a good question. 16 times 8. I don't know. Math. 128. Okay. There we go. Get that texture region correct here. Oh, that was too far. Margins 64. There we go. All right, so those are the bulk X and bulk Y, bulk layer Z time. How do we want to do these? Should probably do them as separate source IDs. So we have a light and a dark, which I'm not sure how to call those. top versus mid. I don't know. Yeah, let's call it that. Ooh, I got a spam bot over on Twitch. Load the photon torpedoes. I don't think the best viewers are on stream, boo. I think the best viewers are right here. All right. Fire when ready. We got him.
He's dead, Jim.
He is. I like that we've got a little thing that started going sometimes.
He's dead, Jim.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like that we got this thing going where it's like a race to see who can say he's dead Jim first. It's good. I enjoy this. All right, let's use all these. A whole buffalo. It's like 24 or something, right? Oh, again, I made a mistake. Yeah, so for setup, I need to add margins first. So we need the 7. Actually, what we need is 1024 minus 32. 992. Oh. Oh. Minus 32 again. 960. There we go. $10.24 assignment completed. Not quite. $10.4. Funny stuff. All right, so this is the same 960 margin along with a 64 vertical margin. Yeah, this is annoying to set up. We'll figure something out. 12, I think, is the texture origin Y offset for that. We're guessing a lot of this based on memory. We'll see if it ends up being correct. So why are you ID 0 and you're ID 2? Okay. There we go. All right. Deck layers. Just keep cruising through this stuff here. Way down here. So that's 768. And then 16 times 8. It's 128. And then 32 by 12. Oh, 16 by 12. Excuse me. I'm out of coffee, but I haven't had enough coffee. But I'm out of it. It's a conundrum. I should get some tea going at some point. Brew one, you can wait. Nice, yeah. Yeah, I might. We'll hydrate for a little bit. Then maybe we'll do that. It's definitely a quiet, chill day here, which is nice. So we're doing some pretty boring, tedious stuff that I would hate to make anyone watch. All right, what are these? I don't remember what the offset for these should be. Let's just look at it by hand then. -8. 2? Okay. Easy. Easy. Project Zomboid is cool, Nix. It's written in Java. That means we can just modify one JSON file and attach a debugger to the game so we can debug our mods live. That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Pretty wild it's written in Java, but so what is 128 and 48? 170 something. Small number arithmetic hard. Okay, 176. Weird how I can't just box tiles I want to make. I have to like squiggle over them. Excuse you, Nix. You have 6,000 plus lines you have to re-implement in a completely different system. Oh, no. Do you have to, though? All right. You have to. Your 17,000 active subscribers need it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good player base. We're not worthy. What did we say this was? 992? Something like that? Oh, it was half that, or it was a little less that. 960. Is this right? I think we just leave this one. I don't think this one has texture origin offset. The shenanigans. You're trying to build out the structure of your game so all the data for everything is JSON. Then some basic scripting tied to event chains and an assets folder with standard file formats. Intent is to make it super easy to mod from the get-go, kind of dog food your own mod infrastructure into how you build the game itself, so you know it's flexible enough. Not sure about supporting custom models and things like that, but we'll cross that bridge when you get to it. Nice. Yeah, that's a principle that I would like to use. And we're definitely identifying a lot of annoying, frustrating things about creating assets for this game already. And the question is, like, how much of that customizability will we open up, and to what extent are we going to make certain presumptions about the formats that we propose, and just take more of a approach where we give them templates and stuff and show them how things should be formatted, versus like supporting a lot of custom stuff. My question is really going to be around, because retexturing is going to be super easy for people to do. My question is, I'm a little unclear about how I'm going to support wholly unique blocks very easily, like blocks with like unique silhouettes and stuff, which I need to support, but it's going to be an interesting process. But that's cool. I think that approach is the right approach. I don't know why I call this mid instead of bot. I guess it is mid. Nix, you had a total 38,000 unique subscribers. Most of them went away when you stopped updating the mod a year or so ago. That's pretty cool. It's very cool. Nope. Went too far. Okay, that's the setup for that. The proxies are going to be kind of annoying. Do I want to support that right now? What do I want to do about doors? If only those were beta testers for your game, huh? That'd be a huge number. Be a huge number of testers. All right. You know, I'm not really going to change the way doors work. So let's just set them up now. What we'll do is we'll go find the door pieces here. We'll grab the proxies. Door single proxy. That'll be one. No. We'll have to redo the grid as well. The grid is going to be interesting, but let's not worry about that right now. I'm not even going to rename these. We do need to set them up correctly, though. Yeah, I kind of like this pattern where we have the half blocks on the same texture as the full blocks. Kind of like that. And they're like, there's a lot of dead space, but I think that's fine for this case. What is this? Probably 12 offset. Yeah. Oh, wait. 12 offset. I think I did the floor pieces wrong. Or not the floor pieces, the wall pieces. Hold on. What if we turn this back to 0? Oh. Yeah, okay, I got this wrong. We gotta go back. We have to go back. So these ones, 24 is very wrong. It should be, what this should say is, I think this should say minus 12. And then I think this one should say 0. My thinking. Let's try that. Oh, actually, maybe this one's minus 12. Minus 12. And then this one's minus 24. I think that's right. Let's see. We'll find out later. Nick's Dead Space. It's a great game. Yeah, I mentioned Dead Space. The remastered one's pretty good too. Sadly, you can 100% it in about a day. At least you did, at least. That's pretty good. Yeah, I played the original Dead Space. I don't know if I finished it, but I did like it. I remembered a lot of the stuff about its UI. It had a really great atmosphere as well. It's just the problem is those horror style games are like, they're really intense early on, but once you get over it, like once the fear is gone, I have a hard time sticking with those things. Oh, geez. What size are these? These are weird. 36, I guess. 64. No, not 64. 48, maybe? Yeah, oh, yeah, wow. These are big. All right, now we gotta manually move this origin here. Right spot. Oh, I didn't make any other. Oopsies. Next, 3 different games, and you have to finish it at least twice. Second, you unlock the hardest difficulty. Ah, I see. Yeah, that almost never appeals to me in a game. But that's cool. But yeah, I rarely play on like torment or challenge modes or whatever you call them. Maybe the last time I actually did that was like trying to climb like Slay the Spire, maybe. Get those ascension levels. But I feel like that's a little different in the context of a roguelike than it is when it's like, here's a big single player game. Play the whole thing to unlock the game on a harder difficulty. I think it's cool, I just don't know if it's for me. But that's cool. That's cool that you just knocked it out like that. I should be doing more than one of these at a time, huh? I'm doing my thing where I embrace busy work to avoid having to think about anything. All right, there's double doors. Dumbledore, the Great Wizard. I gotta draw a picture of like one of the doors with like a wizard hat. And by one of the doors, I mean the double door. Draw the double door with a wizard hat. That'd be funny. All right, are these the same proportions still? It'd be weird if they were. Okay, they're not. Okay, 40 is strange, but all right. Are they 40 by 40? Because that's super weird. They are. I get concerned about these blocks that are like bigger than one tile. I gotta do something about that. I think this one's okay. It's only 40 pixels across. The double door is 48, which like starts to introduce some weird indexing problems when something tries to cross past it. Like this little edge of the door goes just a little too far, I think. But that's a problem for another day. All right, I'm going to do good and I'm going to set these out simultaneously. I'm going to be efficient. All right, negative 14, 16. These ones are 4, 8, 16 and 8. So this one, mid one's probably just 12. Yeah, that looks about right. Middle piece is a little weird. It will be nice when we move on from this stuff, because working on tile sets and stuff has not been good for viewership. not very visually interesting or exciting. But we'll be on to some more interesting stuff soon. All right, single, double, triple doors. All good. All good. Do I want an invalid door block? No, I don't. I don't because I don't. We do need to introduce a system that if it identifies that there's some invalid blocks, it just renders them. It doesn't worry about like the thing underneath. Or if like it can't find the mod file that includes the blocks that it's supposed to be rendering, that's also when we would like would draw just a default. All right, so how do we do this in a way that doesn't break everything? I think the trick would be to make another one of these hull levels scenes. We also have grid levels. I don't know if those need to be different. I guess they do need to be different. There's a question of whether the grid ones even want to be broken down by layer. I could see an argument for not doing that. Oh, maybe it's a good, maybe there would be a good thing to split that out. But let's not worry about that one. All right, so I want to build out a separate structure here. I also want to take another path here because right now these are all offset in interesting ways. I want to do a version that's offset a little differently. So each of these layers is offset back like this, like negative 256, negative 16. I want these to be back at the origin. So I want to make another one of these. So what do you descend from? So you descend from a tile level. You were called a hull level. So we have hulls and we have grids. Grids is like an overlay. I don't know if I want to use those terms. I like them because they're 4-letter terms. Hull and grid. Yeah, let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it. So we're going to make a new... I guess I have to find this in here. Tile. Hull. Level. Hull level. Layer. Yeah, so I want to make a new one of you. So I want to save, I want to make an inherited scene in here, level. We'll just call this like hull level. Should call it something. Could call it new. I hate doing that. I hate doing stuff like that so much. No, I don't want to open it. Oh, I see what's happening. New inherited scene. So I have to go find the actual. So I have to click this. I have to say open. And I have to save this. So I'll say hull level. And I'll save this. And this will be hull level new. We're going to have to clean these project files up pretty soon. It's going to get out of control super quickly here. At least it inherits from something I can understand here. So the new hull level. So in the same way, I need to make new copies of all the deck layer stuff. Or what if instead of all this nonsense I'm about to do, I just... Because I can just change this stuff. This doesn't have to be this way. It can still inherit from the same thing and just change it. I think that's reasonable. Well, we'll do it this way for now. We'll do it this way for now. I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this soon. Here, what we'll do is this. We'll instantiate a bunch of stuff here. We'll say we'll go find deck layer. We will substitute in our new layer here. We'll say deck layer X. Here, we'll do it this way. We'll minimize the amount of crazy file duplication. I'm trying to make, I want both scenes or both approaches to work simultaneously while we're building them out. Just to minimize the amount of I don't know, just so I can still show people the project if they pop in over the next few days while we're working on this. Is this the order I put them in before? Yeah, it is. Don't break your projects. That's, I guess, my advice. If you're doing any kind of major refactor or something, keep a build of the other way at least. Keep something you can look at or show. Just don't leave your project in a broken state for too long, I guess. It really hurts morale and motivation and momentum, all that stuff. Bulk layer. Rename this. Do you guys already have your Z indexing stuff? Yeah, you do. Eventually want this to be characteristics of the underlying inherited scene, or the scene that we're inheriting from, but right now we'll just substitute this stuff in here. It's fine. The real question is, do we have a door scene or a door layer scene? Bulk layer Z, there you are. Door layer. Oops. Okay, cool. We have our alternate structure. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to leave all of the tile map layers on the origin, which is not what we're currently doing, but that will be useful. That will be useful soon. I actually want to, I guess I want to offset it a little bit. I want to offset it by, or maybe what I do is I offset this whole thing. It's actually unclear to me. The problem is, this is -1, 0, and this is 0, 0. I guess it doesn't matter. I like having the origin in the middle, but I think I would rather not mess with this unless it becomes a problem. Yeah, let's not mess with that for now. I could introduce a slight offset, like we could go half a tile to the left and half a tile up, just to bring the 0 tile in line with the world origin. It's kind of weird that that's not the case by default. It's kind of weird that the center tile by default is -1, 0. I'm sure there's a good reason for that. Just don't know what it is. All right, so we've got our new hull level. So what we need to do here, this is going to be not easy. Is there one of these that we don't use? Would be my question, I guess. We can find that out. Figure that out. So we have the elastic levels. I don't think we use these for anything. This would be index 1. I think we just use 0, 2, and 3, in which case we can just slot this new experimental area in index 1 and use a separate function for it. Because, yeah, I don't think we're doing this. Yeah, we use... Oh, do I not even say... No, here it is. 0, 2, and 3. Cool. I do need a better way to refer to those than just by indexes. We need either like hard code it or do like some kind of ID system thing. And not hard code it in terms of the, you know, raw numbers like 0, 2, and 3, but like have something more descriptive. So we'll use that. We'll use the elastic levels. So let's go. What do you inherit from? Oh, you're a grid. Interesting. Okay. Stupid question. Does anyone use these for anything? Board. I guess I also need a hull levels new. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just make one. Yeah, maybe I make one. That's correct. Oh, wait, you're not an inherited scene at all. Yeah, okay, let's do it like this then. Say a new scene, 2D scene, node 2D. All levels. Give them that script that's around here somewhere. All levels.gd. I'm gonna put a bunch of these in here. Call this one 0. That's usually what we do. Oh, I guess we can just duplicate. Eight levels are supported currently. So we'll do that. I need to arrange them such. So these are arranged like this. So 0 is up here at -96. And this offsetting we do need, because this is how we create our illusion of 3D. -64. I just don't want the tile map layers to be offset within the levels. That I want to get rid of for reasons that will become obvious. in due time. All right, level 3 is at 0. Okay. 32. $64. 96. I presume 128. Yep, okay. We save this. We'll call this hull levels new. Stupid, so stupid, but it's fine. Now we can switch back and forth. Music's a little loud, but it's cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to substitute the existing elastic layer thing here with our new. So we're just going to delete this. Delete. There it is. And then we're going to add it back. But we're going to add it by instantiating a child scene. Hold on a second. Okay. All levels new. We'll instantiate one of those. You're going to go out here. We're going to call you elastic levels still. That's the good name for what we're about to attempt. Script is set up correctly. As long as... No, all of this should be fine. Famous last words. Oh. Alright, I broke something. It's not able to swap, it's not able to change vertical Z level anymore. Hand viewer up or down in base null instance on a null instance. Okay. I misconfigured something. Do you have some kind of export variable? No. Okay. Is there a problem with the board? Levels, ecstatic levels. Oh, is this plural and I just didn't... Yep, I just didn't call it levels. Whoopsie. That should be fine now. All right, that all looks fine. Yep, I'm satisfied that that's all working. It's gonna be such a. It's gonna be no one is gonna see the difference between these two tiles sets except me. Just trying to show people the difference that we're trying to support. They were like, I don't know, this all looks fine. The only obvious one you can see is on the ground floor here, where those white outlines, those vertical white outlines in the middle disappear. Where this shortened wall hits the main wall, this kind of T-junction. That's the only obvious one, but there's lots of unobvious, weird little issues that we're solving for. Like, if you look at a door here, on the edge here, it looks weird. The outlines look weird. There's probably some better examples. I guess that's not going to be that fixed that much. It'll be fixed a little, though. I might actually want to change a little bit of the way that autotiler works on those cases when it encounters a door. Maybe the autotiler should just continue through when it encounters a door. Right now it leaves the outlines around the edge of the door. I don't know if I actually want that. All right, so, okay. So we've got this alternative level set up here that we can use to try this alternative way of autotiling. So what we need to do to set that up correctly we need we need a few things actually. We need a system that can tell whether a block is invalid or not. Ultimately, if we're trying to add in support for invalid blocks, that's kind of a crucial thing, is there needs to be a system that like evaluates whether a block is invalid or not. Like it's either not attached to the main body or it's a door that violates like the rules about how doors can be. It's got to be some combination of those things, you know. Hey, Matthew Sparks. What's up? You have an announcement. Oh, okay. Let's hear it. 446 lines of CSS styling later. Management has approved the latest version of the emergency email templates they wanted remade from scratch ASAP. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks, Matthew. You as well. Well, congratulations. That's a lot of that is either a lot of or not very much CSS styling. I think it's a lot of, but that's not something I do. That's just something I kind of balk at when I see it. Like when I'm like doing a jam and I'm like, should I format my itch page to look better? And then I just don't do it. 400 lines is a heck of a lot of CSS. All right, you're telling me. You're telling me, Nix. You would know. That's awesome. For an HTML email template. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot. That's awesome. That's awesome, Matthew. Well, time to just kind of kick back and just let the rest of the week float on by, yeah? You don't do design or front end, so anything over about 50 to 100 lines is too much for you. You have no visual design skills, says you. CSS feels like the most unintuitive thing in the world. That I understand. That I understand. No, that sounds great. All right, so let's maybe not worry about evaluating whether a block is valid or not, because that's going to depend on some changes I want to make to how block buffers work. That's part of the resizing block buffers task that we were doing. And so we can't quite do that right now, but what we could do is write an alternative create tile map cells function. I don't know if create tile map cells is the right way of... Maybe we just call it like set tile map data. Or maybe it's like encode tile map data. Describe tile map data. Yeah, describe might actually be the right word. We have derive. So we derive a bunch of layer data, and now we need to describe tile data. Yeah, let's just call it that for now. As like an alternative thing to do. Just say, we'll put it up here. Describe tile map data. Make it here. All right. We got ads coming up. I'm going to take a quick break for the ads. Maybe I'll get some tea water boiling. We'll see how I feel. But I'll be right back in just a few minutes here. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for chilling with us.
He's dead, Jim. Most illogical. The logic was impeccable, Captain.
Welcome back. Or you've probably been here the whole time, so welcome back to me. I'm back. We're back. Hey, Omega Killer, what is FTL? You're new here? Welcome in. If you're still here, FTL is short for FTL Faster Than Light. It's a classic 2012 sci-fi game about starship management. It's real nice. I'll leave that up for a second while I read the chat. He's alive, Jim. He is indeed. Shenanigans. You do a lot of HTML emails. You enjoy doing front-end dev in general, but HTML emails is a bunch of weird hacks and workarounds with tech still from the 90s. Can be a big headache even if you know all the various provider quirks. Oh, that's fun. It's good to know. Yeah, I have to do some of that eventually. It's on my list of projects, but it's been left on the low priority list. So we'll see when and if I ever get to it. But I've essentially been tasked with coming up with our own version of GMAS, which it doesn't seem that hard. But you know, it's one of those things I didn't think I'd have to be doing. Whoever said that is absolutely right. It's lines and lines of hacks. Oof. But yeah, FTL Fast and Light. It's kind of the original take on. I don't say maybe not original, but it's a classic take on starship management, and we're kind of working on our own. Incredibly popular. Estimated lifetime sales is in the millions of copies. And we're working on a little isometric 3D kind of version of it. That's kind of what we're trying to do here. Right now we're working on a new tile map atlas format that will help us support a lot more stuff going forward. So we're kind of writing out this stuff. So do I need... Hey, Dan Garrup, thank you for the follow. How's it going? I've seen you around. How are you doing? All right, so what's different between this and the create tile map cells? I don't think much. We need the tile atlas data. What do we use the tile atlas data for again? Oh, it's a way of encoding the matching source IDs. Is that... Oh, that's going to be a little complicated, huh? That's technically going to be required, but we also are going to need something else. Because it's not going to be enough to know what tile atlas we have in the sense that we currently encode it. We're also going to need to know... Oh, maybe not. We might actually need the block to tell us what kind of, like, material it is. Because right now it's just like, are you a block? Great. All blocks are alike. It's like, oh, that's not true. That's not true. I mean, it's currently true, but that's not going to be true for very long. All good. How are you? How's the C# experience with Godot? You want to try it on your game? Yeah, as long as you don't need a web build, it's all right. I've cherry picked it a little bit. So what we do is we have like our simulation layer in C#, and it's kind of separated from the Godot API. Like, I don't call the Godot API very much from my C# code. We just have a few points where we hand off things like tile map data and like whatever stuff needs to go back. We basically, mainly because I don't want to pay the cost of calling into the API from C#. I don't want to pay for the whole managed, unmanaged boundary stuff. So yeah, our simulation layer is almost entirely separate, and then we kind of just handle the rendering and UI stuff in Godot still. So we just tell Godot about the stuff that it needs to render or the stuff that it needs to make interactable. You didn't know you could do that? Yeah, you could do it. It's maybe not the best way to do that. Like, the better thing for me probably to have done would have been to make a GD extension so that my simulation layer could still be very fast, but kind of just use nodes. But I am not really a C++ programmer, so that wasn't really an option for me. So we went about it a weird way. We ended up making our own little like entity component system in C# here, like a very minimal entity component system, but it's nice for me because it means I don't need a node for like every simulation element or whatever, or system. I can kind of, my simulation elements can be very lightweight. They can just be some component data or like an entry in a buffer somewhere. And since we're doing some spaceship stuff, I thought that'd be reasonable. But yeah, I would like to. There have actually been cases where I've been doing like a jam and I've been like, man, I really need my code from my C# project, but it wouldn't have worked because it was a jam and I needed a web build. So it was like, it's not as an interchangeable a code base as I would have liked. I'm not getting a lot of utility out of it in terms of beyond this specific project, but I think someday it'll be nice once they get that web build stuff sorted out. Omega Killer, any particular reason to go with Godot? So the thing that I love about Godot is its pixel perfect nature, which as someone coming from a long time of using Unity is like incredibly refreshing. So like, let's open up a little character here. C#, you thought Godot was using something called GDScript. Yeah, we also still use GDScript. So GDScript is like, it appears like Python, but it's just this, it's not really otherwise very related to it except in its appearance. But yeah, it's a scripting language that you can use. You can also just write stuff directly in C++, using a thing called GD extension. You can also bind other languages with a similar process. So you could use Rust if you wanted, if you were, you know, that kind of a person. But yeah, we also use GDScript for stuff that's UI related or handling the rendering stuff, like pulling in stuff from the simulation layer to render. But what I like about Godot, well, it's really nice for a solo dev. It's pretty easy to use, especially in a jam. Like, it's very easy to get going and do something small very quickly. But I love that it's just pixel perfect. So here's our little guy. This is a very rough little duder that I've drawn here. Our little guy can be moving. They can have this collider. This collider is pixel perfect. Because the transform system, there's no real difference between a unit and a pixel at the viewport level. So I like that about Godot, because I like doing 2D games, and I always feel like most 3D engines kind of hack the 2D solution. But here we can be incredibly precise about positioning and rendering and collision for our 2D game, and that's very refreshing for me. So yeah, I like it. I like it for the kind of stuff I'm doing. We have a character now, new content warning. It's not new. That's unfortunately something I probably made like over a year ago. I haven't gotten to work on characters or art or anything in so long. We've been so bogged down in architecture and systems programming. But soon we'll be getting the simulation down, and we'll have little duders running around our gray boxed ships. Dan, you prefer typed languages? Sometimes GDScript drives you crazy. Yeah, because you can kind of write GDScript in a way that's typed, but yeah. As someone who spends a lot of time during the day with JavaScript variants, yeah. I like statically typed languages. Anything that could be a compile time error should be, you know? I don't want to have to go figuring out why something's undefined because, you know, it got slightly misnamed somewhere. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who has time for that? No, Jewel, will you use the Deep Fold Pixel Planet generator? Ooh. Ooh. What is this? Oh my god. Terrain. Oh, planet type. Terran wet. Terran dry. Holy. I gotta use some of these crosshatch shading techniques. I don't do this anywhere, and I think I want to start doing it. It's like crosshatch shading. I love this. I love this so much. Islands. This is very cool. I'm going to drop this in the YouTube chat for anyone that's interested in this. It's already in the Twitch chat. This is amazing. Oh, there's a moon. That wizard came from the moon. This is really cool. No, we're not going to use this, but this is very inspiring. I'm going to bookmark this for later. We're going to probably end up doing something similar. Dithering. Yeah. Dithering. I think of dithering. When I hear the word dithering, I only think of it from an AI standpoint, which is like, it's very bad. Omega Killer, have I encountered any limitations in Godot compared to Unity? Limitations in Godot compared to Unity. Not really. I would say from a 3D standpoint, Godot is a lot more comparable to Unity. Like, the reason I'm using it is because its 2D support is so good. But I'd say if you're making a 3D game and you're like picking between engines, I think picking Godot over Unity would be a little bit more of a personal choice. Maybe business oriented, but yeah, from an engine standpoint, their 3D support is good, but I don't consider it like best in class or whatever. Like, it's not as stand out to me as the 2D. This is so cool. Oh, you can turn the dithering off? That's gross. Oh, it looks pretty cool, actually. This is rad. The black hole. Oh my god. Is the entire black hole gonna like rotate? I guess it wouldn't matter if it did. Yeah, these are really gorgeous. Hey, Arneo. Dan, streaming today, you drove yourself crazy because of that. You ran the game. It broke because of you trying to send an int instead of a vector after a refactor. Yeah. Anything that should have been caught, right? That should have been caught at compile time. Crazy. I hate that. I hate hunting bugs down like that. That's an annoying part of my day. Galaxy generation. Here we go. Let's go. Maybe you turn dithering off for this. Yeah, because dithering doesn't really do anything for that. This is so cool. Good find, No Jewel. This is amazing. Arneo, these planets make you ashamed of the quick radial gradients plus blur you whipped up. Don't worry about it. The fact that you can export these as like sprite sheets and stuff, this is so slick. Whoa, a star. I'm gonna turn the dithering back on. No, dithering's not good for the star. Oh, I really like the flares. Wow, this is incredible. Turn the dithering back on. Amazing. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting question how much planets, like how much detail we end up putting into planets. I didn't see one of these cool gas giants. Oh yeah, this one. This is slick. Oh, I can control it a little bit. Oh, I can choose the light source. Neat. Super cool. Hey, nice planets. Yeah, that was those are deep folds. Pixel planet generator. Super cool. How's it going, Symbol? What were we doing? Yeah, I want to look into it more later too. Shenanigans seems really interesting. All right, so this is going to be a bit of a conundrum. I'm just now realizing, if we're gonna set this up a certain way, such that the tile, you can just keep adding variety to the tile set atlas. Like, we open up one of our atlases here. We open up one of the new ones specifically. I said we were going to open up one of the new. Why don't you show? Because I'm there. There we go. You're good? You're here to leave the lyric? No worries, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, we're good. We're working on this new tile map atlas format. And so if we have this set up, so right now the default is the invalid one, right? And then you'll be able to add more. And the question is, who is going to tell? How are we going to track which is which? Because that actually might be set per face. Like right now, we're generating it dynamically with the hull system, which isn't even its own system. But we're determining early on, we're checking to see like what's outside, what's inside, what's entombed. And we're picking a particular hull type, like middle, outer, inner. But eventually, we'll be able to just use whatever we want. That's not, it's going to be generated, but then you could like manually say like, oh, I want a different, like let's say we have a different texture for like the engineering room versus like the observation deck. We're going to eventually need to be able to tell it somewhere. We're going to need to store where that information is. It's going to suck. Okay. But we don't have to do it right now. We can just work on our own current functionality. The buffer 3D read only, cutaways. So it's going to need the hull information, which it already has access to, thankfully. That we're probably going to refactor out into its own system, because that hull calculation is only going to happen during edit time. But I don't want to do that right now. So let's just work on getting the current implementation working with the new map. Worry about some of those concerns later. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, Arnold, the stuff you've been showing on Discord has been awesome. All right. Now, how much of this is different? Yeah, there's definitely been progress. It's great to see. All right, so we're gonna basically do the same thing. So we just need to rewrite these functions, these individualized functions, to take advantage of the new format. which is going to mean adding new rules, which is going to suck. Just because our auto tiling rules are a little complicated. They're not that complicated, but we've added support for things like corners in the half walls, which means we have to rethink a lot of these auto tiling rules. This is going to be a lot of messing around here to get these rules right. So I guess the thing we start with... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to do the actual mapping, right? The real question is, where do we want the mapping to come from? I'm tempted to just encode it into this document. Using slices. Because I could just put a slice in here. So where do you get slices from? Right here. So we could unlock it. You can do a slice, like, let's turn the grid back on. So I could slice it up like this. Oh, I wanted to do something with the grid there. Oh, it doesn't let me do that. So I could do this. So I could slice this up here like this. Slice one. And we could put some characteristics here. So instead of calling it slice one, I could call it like bulk full X. Maybe we call it something else. So I've got this slice now. And now, oh, is it still just called slice one? Slice properties. I can rename it here. Bulk X full. We can give it a color. So I wouldn't even necessarily have to name it. And then here's the part that I don't think I want to do, but which we totally could, which is we could encode the mapping data in here and then interpret it. And then that way it's at least in the file. So if it's different, we can do it differently. However, I don't think this mapping is a per file kind of mapping. The reason why I structured it the way that I did is so that it's consistent. So it's essentially taking the mapping here, which is a sparse mapping from the auto tiler's perspective, and it's mapped onto the indices of the underlying tile map data. So that, I think I can code that out tonight. It's just writing a dictionary. I'll probably do that. So that would be in here somewhere. Call it like, Atlas lookup or something like that. Make it a dictionary. The only question is, do I want it to be an int? So it's got to be vector2i for the key, but then we could make it... Oh, it can't be just a vector2i, huh? That won't work. Unless I... Yeah, let's do it like this. Say private read-only, dictionary, vector2i, we'll say dec x lookup? I don't know. Oh, I need to pick what the data inside it is. I guess it should be... An int is good. It'll take up less space. Not that it matters, but... Then we would need... something like private const integer dec map width. And that is 12. Actually, that's for everybody, isn't it? No, it's not. Oh yeah, because yours is not 12. Yours is like 12 times 4. So bulk map width is also, I guess it could be size. No, it's not size. It'd be width. 48. Deck map width. Oh, bulk half. It's this or just recorded as vectors anyway, which we could just do. I kind of wrote it out as indexes instead of vector coordinates, so I'm gonna stick with that because I am kind of ridiculous like that. But I think these are constants. I'm pretty sure these are all going to be constants. Because I tried to design this in a way that will be consistent for everyone. Deck map width is just... Oh no, that's not your width. Your width is 2. And then we're just converting the index to a vector, so that'll just be, you know, you divide it for one and you modulo it for the other, you know, whatever. Deck map width is 2. Bulk half map width is 12. Bulk full map width is 48. That's confusing the way I've written that, but that's fine. All right, so we can describe tile map data. We'll say tile.atlas. I don't like that. I guess we say block for now. Block cutaways. Null. True. 0. I thought I have this function here somewhere. I might have commented it out. Here it is. Okay, so I'll do the mapping later. Let's just presume that we have it. Which probably means making more of these up here. I don't want to hard code these relationships, but I guess I could record it the other way. As like just an array, and then I could build the dictionary. It is sparse, but I don't relish the thought of doing this, but I think I'm just going to do it by hand later. And hope that I never have to do it ever again. All right, so I'm going to need to make 8 maps. That's fine. I have all of the relationships described out here. I just need to actually do it. So this will get us from the autotiler's perspective into the actual tile map atlas. So we've got those. I guess we put this here. Oh, it's not 0. It's going to be 1. I'm going to move you, actually. Maybe not. All right, so I think we can start with this whole thing. So I need to substitute these functions out. Or I need to overload them with something. You're going to pass out before you figure out why your raycast is not looking at the player. Good luck with that, and good night. You'll figure it out. All right, so instead of this, I don't like creating cell because that sounds like I'm messing with the tile map source. I keep using this describe term. I think I kind of like it. Maybe set. Call it like this. Okay, so the signature for this is this. I need this. All right, so this is going to be the fun part, which is rewriting and expanding our auto tiling rules to handle this new format that is much more detailed than the old format. Oh, it's not supposed to be a void. It's supposed to be a tile. Yeah, there you go. Probably are not going to be able to do a lot of this right now. But let's at least just let's at least get ready. So did I like copy from the right one? Yeah, I think I did. I'm just going to copy each of these over in turn, and then we'll work on them later. Let's hope I do this right. Maybe this should be like get dex z tile map cell rather than set. Yeah, whatever. Can always rename things. Whenever I get annoyed or I'm hesitant about working the thing that I'm working on the next thing. Gotta go. Have a good stream. Thanks, Dan. I'll catch you around. But yeah, whenever I don't want to actually work on the task at hand, I just start to think about naming. Just like, ooh, I could probably lose tons of time to just thinking about the naming for this object. That way I don't have to work on it at all. I can just think about how it's named. It's like a really bad habit. I think I might instead just call this get bulk X tile. All right, bulk Y. All right, we're gonna need to wrap it up soon. Not a lot of streams this week. I'm taking the next couple days off to do some stuff with my partner. We'll see what I'm able to get done in the meantime. Zooming around the code. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we do when we don't want to actually work on anything. We think about we debate naming conventions, and we just yeah, it'll be cool. But we'll be back. We'll be back on Saturday. We'll do something fun on Saturday. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. If I feel like working, we'll work. If I don't feel like working, we'll do some kind of let's play. All right, those are the functions we're going to need, and those are variants of them that we can use. Everything else should be the same. All right, so that's only, what, from line 369 to line 893? Cool. Yeah, so only like, you know, a few hundred of lines of code we got to modify to include the new autotiling cases. That is going to be not fun. I have some regrets not commenting this code now. You know what we probably do is we do it the same way we did last time, where we just run it, look for graphical issues, and then introduce rules that eliminate those issues, and then run it again. And we just do that until we've run out of graphical issues. That's always fun because nobody can see these issues except me. It just looks like I'm just not doing anything, just running the same test over and over again. And I'm like, look, this pixel's in the wrong spot. We got to change a rule so that the pixel's like up by 1. I'm like, Zace666, thank you for the follow. You're catching us at the end here, but had a nice stream today. It's been a quiet one. We normally do this 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. I don't know what day it is today. Oh, okay, so it's only Tuesday. So we'll actually be back Friday, I think. No, actually, I can't promise that. This might actually just end up being a week with, like, no streaming. So I'm going to be traveling around a little bit with my partner. Not far. We're going to be traveling locally, but we might not get another stream till Saturday. This might be a bit of a mini vacation for us, which is cool because we got a lot of stuff going on. Soon. We have Down to Jam. Yeah, it's not really a vacation, Nix, but thank you. It resembles a vacation. It's what people would call a staycation, I think. The Down to Jam Community Center Jam is coming September 5th through 8th. Everyone should check that out. I'm signed up. It's going to be exciting. I know it doesn't say I'm signed up. I think I got logged out. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. 3-day jam. It's got a category for solo developers, which I love. I love doing a jam with a category for solo developers, so I don't feel like I'm competing against teams of like 5 or 6 people. But yeah, it's... Oh, who's that? Oh, you can't see me. Oh, my chair's in the way. I'm like literally behind myself. Like, they pulled footage from one of our streams for the video. And you can't ever tell. You might see my face on the website because of that, though. But yeah, this will be fun. We've got this to look forward to in a few weeks. Very excited. But yeah, I got a meeting in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate everyone hanging out today. Dan, Zace, thank you for the follows. It's nice to see everyone. New faces like a mega killer. And Ted Bray. Quote unquote old faces. Like Diginanigans, Matthew, Nix, Arneo, Symbol, No Jewel. Thanks everyone for hanging out today. If I don't see you for a few days, which I might not unless I spot you in another Twitch stream or something. Yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. We'll at least be back on Saturday, if not sooner. But yeah, enjoy the time. Bye. Don't forget that tea I put on the kettle during the last ad break. That is a good idea. I'll go have that tea now. I'll see if there's any water left in the kettle. Or if I boiled it all away. But yeah. Like I was saying, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.
I will not be right back. Until next time.